gorgeous villa with very detailed rooms and an amazing view tucked away in the scenic Grafton, Tobago. If you were thinking miles away, you're correct. It's our location for this week's episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Stay with us for more details about this villa and, of course, all the stories we covered this past week. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards, and Let's Talk Tobago starts right now. Preparations for the Tobago 2023 Commonwealth Youth Games are underway. One family's dream of owning their own home was made a reality thanks to the Division of Settlements, and Tobago students learn about their IP rights.
Yo, what's up? This is yours truly Positive, and you're locked on to Let's Talk Tobago. Easy, bless.
So just in case you missed the memo, Trinidad and Tobago will be host to this year's Commonwealth Youth Games, and preparations are underway to ensure all venues and athlete villages are ready. Here's the story.
Hey, I'm last off the bus today, and that's only because I'm rolling with the Commonwealth contingent that's on the island to tour some of the facilities and accommodation ahead of the 2023 Commonwealth Youth Games to be held in August. So stay with us, it promises to be fun.
As far as I'm concerned, the Commonwealth Games have well and truly started, because by the time teams come sending out their teams to do the reconnoiter, recce patrols, as in the time people would say, they are already in games mode. They want to find out what the hotel accommodation is like, what the playing facilities are like, what the playing conditions are like. They're enjoying it, they're enjoying the experience so far, and also they're doing some serious work, because they are doing formal reports and everything that they've seen, and so far everybody seems to be satisfied.
Everybody loves the hotels. We even getting there saying, oh, I want to come here, I want to stay here. They prefer to be over here for the games. They're really excited about the saying at the Magdalena and Mount Irving, and they love the Boko atmosphere, all the shopper facilities.
It's the first time I've been to Tobago. I really enjoyed the entire site visits, the facilities, the accommodation. Everyone was very nice, everyone was very accommodating. The venues are acceptable. The island is beautiful, it's clean, it's refreshing, it's everything. It's one of these places that's like a little piece of paradise. Although I'm from Barbados and that's paradise, but it's a little piece of paradise. So this is the feeling of everybody. We have Guyana, Canada, Kenya, Northern Ireland. So that's how we felt. We had a really good time today.
It was a really fun group. We had a great time. It has me even more excited about what's to come in August for the Commonwealth Youth Games Tobago 2023. And of course, it's from August 2nd to 12th. So you don't want to miss it. And we at the Information Department will be keeping you abreast of all the happenings leading straight up to the games. So if you missed it, just remember, tune in to the Office of the Chief Secretary and right here on Let's Talk Tobago, and we'll give you all the information you need. Back to you.
A breathtaking view, if you ask me. But while I bask in the beauty and tranquility of this villa, here's a feel-good story. A Tobago family now owns their own home thanks to the Division of Settlements Social Housing Support Initiative. Here's the story.
Kian Bruce is a visually impaired mother of 2. She's overwhelmed with joy and gratitude now that she has a home to call her own, thanks to the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development Social Housing Initiative. Home ownership made equal. Home.
I feel blessed. Blessed. I'm having a lot of mixed emotions, but it's a wonderful thing to have a place to call home.
I feel very happy since we come out of the situation that we used to be in, and that we can live a happy and a comfortable life.
To the occupiers, you will have a top quality and lightweight steel structure. It is low cost to purchase. In fact, we estimated that one home, we don't want any of these homes in the social program to go beyond $450,000. This one came in under $400,000. This structure seen here, the foundation took 3 days to complete, and the house itself took 18 days to complete. 21 days in total, and we had a completed home.
Every development that has lands available will be given out by Secretary George and I. Everyone. And not only in these old developments, but in the new developments that are to come. That is our mandate, to provide affordable housing to our citizens. Housing is a must. It builds you socially. It has a social impact on you. We have to provide for those who are less fortunate.
Miss Bruce is the first recipient from the home program. There are plans to provide more houses for other vulnerable, low-income people in the future. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Now, this story has a bit of everything. Tobago's history, youth innovation, and a little speech band. Add all these together and you'll get the Goodwood Secondary School's Mill Ruins experience.
Welcome to this historical occasion. The first of its kind throughout the nation. Today, we opening the Mill Ruins site. This place is a sure delight to tell all stories and tales about the ancestors and the old-time days. So sit back, relax, and listen well to a wee version of the plantation that we will now tell. Beat your drum, Mr. Drummer.
We want to make our product here at Goodwood Secondary School, this experience, marketable, and something that can be incorporated with the tour service providers and hoteliers and so on as a viable tourist attraction.
I see this as a comprehensive package for any visitor, and not just cruise visitors. We have a number of domestic tourists who are also going to enjoy product offerings like this.
The Mill Ruin experience at the Goodwood Secondary School gives visitors the opportunity to purchase local art, craft and delicacies while enjoying dramatic presentations.
We intend to up our marketing campaign, creating the awareness that there is indeed a Mill Ruin experience available to the public here, and that this experience is one with a difference because it brings the youth in focus.
I am very excited to know that we're the first school in Tobago that actually have something like that.
The ancestors must be smiling because of we learning instead of toiling. The land they used to work now houses a school of substance and words. We, their offsprings, to tell their tale of the ruins that still remain. So we owe it to our forefathers to show cast their efforts in the present
and future. Beat your drum, Mr. Drummer.
From the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
Guys, we have to take a short break right now, but don't go anywhere. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Located in Grafton with a spectacular view of the Buku Reef and an island pool, miles away is a gorgeously renovated 3-bedroom villa of understated luxury and all good vibes. It also features 4 bathrooms, a fully equipped kitchen, and a swimming pool with a sun deck. This property is within walking distance of Grafton Beach and less than 5 minutes drive to Mount Irving Beach. 3 of Tobago's best restaurants are located within close proximity. For more information about this villa, you can visit yourtobagovillas.com/milesaway-property. For bookings, you can email them at yourtobagovillas@gmail.com. Now, I think it's a great idea to honor staff for their dedication and outstanding achievement on the job, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Well, the Department of Occupational Health and Safety did just that at their recent awards ceremony, and we were there to capture the moment. Have a look. Ladies and gentlemen, the Occupational Safety and Health Department, formerly Safety and Health Unit, was established in 2012 as a strategic approach by the THA to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Act. This department is responsible for the development and implementation of an OSH management system throughout all divisions of the THA.
A warm welcome to the 9th Annual Tobago House of Assembly's Occupational Safety and Health Awards Ceremony 2023. This ceremony marks the culmination of all of the activities that took place in commemoration of the ILO's World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2023, which is celebrated worldwide today. The activities hosted by the department embody the theme for this year: a safe and healthy working environment is a fundamental principle and right at work.
We want to use this opportunity to thank all of you for your service to the THA, service in the private sector as well. I want to thank all of you for ensuring that we keep our workers safe, so that workers can go home safely every evening to their families. And we will keep working. This is a commitment that we'll keep working as far as resources are available in ensuring that the work environment remains safe, hospitable, and healthy for all our workers.
So it's no surprise that Tobago is brimming with creative talent, but understanding how to protect that creativity is priceless. And that's what the students of Goodwood and Roxborough Secondary learned on Intellectual Property Rights Day. Here's a throwback to the day.
Inventor of the U-Dazzle fashion ruler, Mrs. Rona Eastman Jack, is Tobago's foremost authority on intellectual property rights. She's sharing the benefit of her experience with Roxborough Secondary students.
One of the greatest benefits is licensing my product to a company in Denmark. And if I didn't have the protection for it, he would not have taken it. So, and then I have the benefit of now looking to license in the United States. And even with my trademark, that's one of intellectual property rights. My trademark now is in multiple countries because of the Madrid Protocol. You have to have intellectual property, you have to have proof of ownership. And if you don't have proof of ownership, they will not take your product to license or sell it as an invention, because you could be an infringement on somebody else's own, and they don't want that. The companies that you license to don't want that problem.
It was inspiring to me that I got to meet one of an inventors from my country. So it was inspiring for me.
This year's theme is Women and IP, accelerating innovation and creativity.
If you have it protected, then you skip the having to prove yourself, and then you would be able to say, no, I have my trademark for this. I have an industrial design. I have a patent. I have my poems, or my book is copyright protected because it's original work. Your pictures are original. You know, you would be able to have those particular rights.
April 26th is World Intellectual Property Rights Day. Lectures were conducted at Roxborough Secondary School and Goodwood High School to mark the occasion. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Guys, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Let's Talk Tobago, and I sure did enjoy spending this time with you. Now, you can check us out on all our social media platforms, including TikTok. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, thank you for viewing and see you soon.
You're watching Let's Talk Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. It is 7 a.m. and we're happy to have you with us on a Monday morning. Welcome indeed as we continue to give God thanks for life. I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad. Those of you viewing in the Caribbean and those of you viewing on the live, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you, Julian. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Ria. Good morning indeed.
How was the weekend?
Quite good, quite good. Can't complain at all. I had my fair share of festivities. Didn't plan to initially. Eventually made the decision to head over. Quite an experience at that Redemption concert. Quite an experience.
That's where you were.
Let's just say it was one of those enjoying that the combined the performances there of really some icons. It's no secret, yes, folks, and I remain firmly rooted in my loyalty to soca music. Decided to try something a little different in the mix. Quite interesting indeed. Obviously, the usual challenge for event hosts and being able to better cater for your numbers. Large numbers. Excellent turnout. Serious struggles and stress. Imagine having to wait half an hour. In some cases, I saw some people even complaining about an hour before you could simply get something from the bar. A beverage, long lines of food. So by now, you don't know that you need to have
at least more than one station.
Wide area catering to your patrons and so on. So we're really hopeful that things like that at these large and major events, whether in Trinidad or Tobago, are taking place. But certainly outside of that, the music in itself, quite good. Berries, Budgie, songs people know from however long. The audience was really a blend. I saw persons probably in the grouping of my grandmother in the mix coming out to enjoy the music. And it just reminded me of when I'm abroad. There's no age limit to these things.
No.
You, so long as you're able, you are out. There is no age limit at all. We tend to have that kind of, these late night things is for young people. No. It doesn't matter your age group. If it's somebody you like, somebody you're looking forward to hearing over the years, you listen to this music and you never got a chance to see them, they were out in their numbers across the age group. So very good celebration there.
I guess once you're able-bodied and can make it, you make it. But I was at Jesus Rally this year, Jesus Rally 2023, Rejoice, O Land. That was my Saturday. From 10 o'clock on Saturday morning all the way back to about 9 o'clock on Saturday night. It was a beautiful, very safe event. And thankfully, there was no accident, no injury. We started well, we ended well, so we thank God for that.
And we also had this weekend happening. Kudos as well to the annual National Spelling Bee competition.
Yes.
Palm Star Promotions, Esther Ali, and the entire team are down there. I would have had the opportunity to be a part, working around, supporting, and so on. And excellent, really excellent in terms of the execution, particularly creating that opportunity for our Tobago students. And I want to put a challenge out there because this is the second annual execution of it and the first time they're actually coming to Tobago with a full component and so on. And I really want to put a challenge out there in terms of sponsorship from Tobago. Because should this sponsorship come in from Tobago, more Tobago students can have the opportunity to head across to Trinidad in order to qualify, whether sponsorship to assist with airfare, etc. Because qualifying is not the issue, it is the cost affiliated with, in terms of going across. So we really want to encourage sponsorship and support for what is an excellent initiative and program that would have taken place over the course of the weekend. All right, viewers, at this point, we head on into news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 8th May 2023. Political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, expressed his desire to be Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Speaking at a recent television interview, Duke said he is disappointed with the current leadership of the THA and apologized to Tobagonians. Following the departure of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and others from the PDP and the formation of a new party, Duke remains steadfast in his goal to lead the THA. Meanwhile, Duke hopes to become the mayor of Port of Spain in the upcoming local government elections. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development is exploring using cold mix asphalt for minor repairs on the island's roads. Cold mix asphalt is a combination of emulsified asphalt, aggregate and water, which is pre-packaged and does not require heavy equipment to apply. It can last up to a year as a temporary fix for minor problem areas. If the cold mix asphalt repairs are successful, the division will invest in additional material for small-scale repairs. And nationally, although the state appealed the High Court ruling in which the judge chastised the police for the abduction of firearms dealer Brent Thomas in Barbados, former UNC Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh has urged the Prime Minister to, quote, take ownership, end quote, of the incident. At a recent press conference yesterday, Gopi Singh called on Dr. Raleigh to rectify the situation instead of, quote, running away from TNT at such a critical stage in the country's management, end quote. Dr. Raleigh is currently on vacation in Barbados. Gopi Singh said that if Raleigh cannot handle his duties, he should do the honorable thing and call for early elections. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you so much, Candice.
All right, continuing to be interesting developments in our news, yes? But before we chat about that anything at all, we're heading into our birthday celebrations. Quite a few. The weekend coming straight into today's lineup. Quite a few birthday celebrations. After all, we're in the month of May. Beautiful month in the year with birthdays sponsored by KFC.
Indeed. So we start things off this morning celebrating Karen
Williams.
Williams.
Yes, we got Karen Williams in the mix here this morning.
Happy birthday going out to Karen. And then we've got Whitfield Turner, who celebrated yesterday. So Whitfield, lots of love going out to you this morning from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
Yes, that birthday shout out is also coming from Charlie and his wife.
That's right.
Wishing you the very best with the continued celebrations.
And then we've got Joseph Frederick celebrating a belated birthday greeting. So love going out to you, Joseph, from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
On screen, we have a Bevon Dennis wishing you a belated birthday and God's continued blessings. Bevon Dennis.
Bevon, that has to be not a very recent picture of Bevon Dennis there, because happy birthday, Bevon.
A working shot.
A working shot. Love going out to you. And then we've got former Secretary of Finance,
That's Joel
Jack, who celebrated yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as far as his social media indications, milestone celebration.
Definitely. So Joel, we there.
That's you and Ria, not Julia.
We're there.
But certainly we want to wish you the very best and God's continued blessings going out to you, Joel.
All right, and then we've got Ronnie Williams, who celebrated yesterday as well. So Ronnie, lots of love going out to you, and have a really great one.
Birthday shout-outs to you, Ronnie.
And this young man here celebrated his 100th birthday, and this is Augustine Tim Soverall, and he's fondly known as Brother Tim. He celebrated his 100th birthday, so lots of love going out to you, Brother Tim. At 100 years old.
Yes, 100 not out.
I love it, 100 not out.
All right, we have on-screen Solar Prosser. We want to wish you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings. Do enjoy the celebrations.
And this is Bally Granville. Yes, I heard that Bally was here in Tobago. I hope he's still here. Bally, hope we get a chance to connect. Lots of love going out to you on your birthday. Trust that you have a great one this year.
On screen, Rachel Hines. So we want to wish a happy birthday going out to Rachel Hines. And remember, these birthday shout-outs are courtesy KFC.
That's right. And we got Sonia Charles Sampson, who celebrated recently. So happy belated going out to you, Sonia Charles Sampson. Trust that you have a great one and lots of love to you. And Anne-Marie Braffett.
Yes, Anne-Marie Braffett, wishing you a happy birthday. And we trust that you continue to enjoy the celebrations. We know that the birthday, if my information is correct, would have been over the weekend.
That's right.
But I'm trusting that the celebrations will continue. You've worked hard and you've made your contribution. Now it's time to rock back and enjoy.
And this is Kevon George. Kevon George, love going out to you. Happy birthday going out to you from all of Open Bible Standard Church's family. We love you and God continue blessing upon you. Have a great one today, Kevon George. And this is Reverend Jabez McCall, who is in Tobago. I'm putting you out there, Pastor McCall. You're out there in Tobago for a few days, and love going out to you. I understand he was taken for breakfast on Saturday. But yeah, Curleen, you've got some making up to do, but I'll leave it there. Happy belated birthday going out to you, Pastor Jabez McCall. And this is Pastor McCall's grandson, Daniel Woods, who is celebrating his birthday today. So, Daniel, happy birthday going out to you from your mommy, your daddy, and Gabby, your sister Gabby, and all of us here at Tobago Updates. Have a great one today, Daniel Woods. All right.
All right, and we're heading straight on over. Who do we have on the rundown this morning, Rhea?
We're going to start things off this morning chatting with Natasha Second, who is the technical advisor for DIRTech. And this morning, she's going to be on the program chatting with us on DIRTech's Hybrid Education Committee and their project impact. She'll tell us more about that, as well as the school nutrition policy.
Certainly, we look forward to those discussions. And we'll also be chatting with Onika Mars, and she's president and founder of Woman of Substance. And this morning, we're speaking to Talk It Out seminar. So we're looking forward to those upcoming discussions this morning.
All right.
I'm tempted to dive into some of the news areas there. I couldn't help it, particularly that story that treated with the very interesting information regarding the Watson Duke, political leader, openly expressing his interest with regards to the position of chief secretary.
But that's no secret. He's always said that.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I've heard him say he wants to become chief. He has always said he has given way, to the deputy. Very interesting. So it kind of stood out, in terms of putting that information there. So very interesting, very interesting. And as one of my colleagues in the media would have put it, Liz. Very interesting, the order in which, it is the same question that I was asked by a child as well. When you hear someone saying, I want to be, I want to be, I want to be, that's usually associated in terms of when you are new in the mix. I suppose as when you're a lot younger, but I suppose we can say new to the politics per se. Probably. So he has the right to say, because now he has expressed interest in Prime Minister and expressed interest in becoming the Mayor of Port of Spain, and also now an expressed interest in becoming the Chief Secretary, I suppose, whichever may work out along the way progressively. Very interesting development.
Certainly having his eyes on leadership, the country's leadership. And I'll leave it there.
Well, his style, that one of the things you can't beat him with is a man that operates on the ground. In terms of his style and his moves accordingly. And then very interesting again in the mix in the news, a gentleman takes vacation in the person of our honorable Prime Minister. And there are questions in regards to whether or not he can still manage. That's very interesting to me. So I'm not eligible to take, and it is these kinds of things that deter people from public life.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's these kind of things that deter people from public life when there's that feeling of that we kind of expect perfection. So like everyone else in this world, doesn't he deserve a little time out somewhere in the mix? There will never be an ideal time in the country.
No.
There will always be things happening. But I always say it's important for us to get to that point where we do not feel that a position or leadership is about any one individual.
Yes.
Whether or not as great as our father of the nation, Dr. Eric Williams was, in his passing, someone had to fill the responsibility. As great as E.N.R. Robinson was, after he made his contribution and passed, someone had to fill. So let's never operate in this manner that we feel you have to have in order for things to operate. I feel like it's a bad direction, but it's the habit of political parties. Let's really recognize the importance of the true test of your leadership should be having the right kind of systems in place to be able to function no matter what. I'll leave it there for now, folks. I'll leave it there for now as we prepare to get into the conversation. You see, Rhea, why I told you I was thinking whether or not I wanted to go into that.
But you jumped in.
I jumped all in, all right? So certainly, viewers, we're looking forward to the upcoming discussions this morning with Natasha Second, technical advisor at the Division of Education, Research and Technology. As we speak, I like to say all things education, all right? So we thank each and every one of you for your continued love and support, those of you joining us via TV, those of you listening in, and even those of you online in the mix this morning. We'll get to the shout-outs a little later on, but we want to remind you at this time that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Division of Education, Research and Technology's Student Support Services provides a range of services all geared at the holistic development of our children, including those who require special education services. School psychologist Marian Kent dispelled the notion that special education is a place. Rather, it is about encouraging children to embrace themselves.
Special education is a range of services that's afforded to individuals or students who struggle academically, behaviorally, emotionally, socially, in fitting in and being able to perform with the reading, the math, even achieving goals.
Assistant Education Coordinator Susan Grant explained that a child with special needs or one requiring special education services are not limited to academic shortcomings. It also includes children who are creative or exceptional.
Special needs is not only what we see or the obvious. We have to talk about those who are the exception, who are brilliant and are moving ahead of our mainstream curriculum, and those who, because of circumstances, may end up needing specialized services.
Providing the best services for our children is the department's top priority and often requires collaboration with other divisions and agencies. However, the most important partnership is with the family. Ms. Kent appealed to parents and guardians to support the work of the department by becoming advocates for their children. The Division of Education, Research and Development's Student Support Services provides various services to students from early childhood to secondary school.
Yes, good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. It is just about 7:16 a.m. this morning, and we want to thank you so much for staying and sticking and connecting with us here on the Tobago Updates morning show. In this segment, viewers, we are happy to welcome on set, as we speak all things education, the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Technical Advisor Natasha Second. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. So as we get straight on in this morning, we're starting on the conversation of the Hybrid Education Committee. And I want to start from that perspective. What is this Hybrid Education Committee? Is this something that has always been existing that we knew nothing of and is now being publicized? Or is this something that is new, redesigned, redeveloped, or totally new? Tell us, what is the Hybrid Committee?
All right. Well, Julian, I am always happy to be here to explain what is happening, what is taking place at DERTEC, the Division of Education, Research and Technology, to keep the people abreast of our new efforts and initiatives. So the Hybrid Education Committee is a new initiative, and it is born out of the fact that we continue to lose teaching and learning time. We know that during the pandemic, everyone was thrust into this new online learning modality. We had to learn quickly how to deliver teaching and learning lessons. Teachers, parents, students, persons who had no training, little devices, little know-how, had to engage in teaching and learning through online systems. Post-COVID, we were running towards returning to face-to-face modalities. However, last year in particular, we had a very difficult rainy season. So there was a number of times when students had to stay home. Schools had to be closed, either because of flooding, etc. Roads were impassable and so on. So people were losing teaching and learning time. So we had to come up with, the Executive Council and the technocrats in the division, a way to marry what we learned, all of the positives that we got from the online learning during the pandemic with face-to-face. So a committee was put together, made up of persons within the Division of Education, principals, parents, etc., a large, varied stakeholder group, and we are working towards developing a very pragmatic policy guideline to help us to utilize all of the positive things that we got through the pandemic, along with our face-to-face.
So you said something there that makes me smile. I hear online, I hear face-to-face. We're looking at how we integrate for the benefit of our education system. Tell me a little bit more on that.
Yes. So the persons who comprise the committee, very interesting. We have persons at the tertiary level, like Dr. Shepherd at THDI. We have persons from TITO, Ian Williams, he's the CEO there now. And we have a principal from each of the levels of the education sector. This is because we wanted to know what the challenges were during the pandemic. So if we are to try to integrate technology regularly in the system, from a lesson plan level, everyday level, to be able to incorporate it seamlessly with the least number of challenges possible, then we needed to do a little needs analysis. So all of these different people, we have primary school principals, early childhood education principals, secondary school principals, all of us in the team put together the strengths and weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats, and we looked at our force field analysis as well to determine how we could best integrate technology in a way that doesn't allow wastage, that doesn't allow too many students to not have access to education, because we know that one of the challenges during the pandemic was a number of persons didn't have devices or electricity or whatever. So we wanted to look at all of the challenges and place a solution for each of them. So the guideline or the policy guidelines will meet all of the challenges that we could perceive of.
Excellent. So the idea would be once these are then formulated, the rollout would be tasked through, what is it, school supervision, or there would be the schools. How do you anticipate or envision the rollout that will take place? Because, you know, some would say we're very good in terms of developing policy and putting it in place, but whether we put it to use or we action it is usually another story.
I'm very happy you looked at that, because to get it pragmatic, we want it to actually work. So it mustn't just be an academic paper. So we're actually going to do a pilot project where we're going to examine how we actually implement this hybrid education in different schools within Tobago. So through the school supervision unit, we're also going to use all of the different units to support. We're going to need student support services. We're going to need the nutrition unit. We're going to need all of the units to work together to make it effective.
So it's a collective effort. And how long you said this committee would have been operating?
We started in April, around April the 27th, and we have 6 months to deliver the complete guideline, policy guideline, with all of the needs analysis, with all of the practical elements, what the timetable should look like, how many hours should be spent per day, etc. So we have 6 months to roll it out.
So I know when we had Secretary of Education on before, Zarisha Hackett, one of the areas, she may not have referred to it specifically in terms of committee-wise, but speaking to making some changes to really see how we can improve our education system. Naturally, the hybrid education committee is one of those areas to have an input, as you said, with a 6-month deadline, so we'll be certainly looking forward to that update in relation to performance. And the other one that we want to touch on is Project Impact. Tell us a little bit. We spoke about that earlier. I think yourself, Sanisha, would have been on looking broadly at the reach for Project Impact. Just again, remind our viewers the focus of Project Impact.
All right. So last year in particular, there was a very poor performance in terms of the SEA results. We had like 74.7% of the students scoring 50% or under, but that was a national and even a global phenomenon. So we had to intervene with a July-August remedial program that was a little more intense. But we're going to continue our approach, because nationally and internationally, people, even though we're not looking so much at the loss of learning, we're looking at ensuring that students are able to catch up and that they're able to matriculate seamlessly into the next level. So this cycle, Project Impact Cycle 2, we're particularly excited about it, because now we want to marry the remedial. So we're going to have a remediation team, and we're going to have accelerated students as well. Later this week, we're going to be inviting about 40, 50 persons, different stakeholders, not just persons from the division, motivational speakers, persons in agri, persons in fishing, persons in culinary arts, etc., because we want to form a committee to manage this July-August session. It's going to be a remediation and acceleration program with a difference. We want to use it to pilot our Tobago-centric curriculum that we want to introduce into the system, where we use what we have existing in the curriculum, but we infuse elements of our Tobago identity as we move towards accepting and embracing and facing all of the challenges that will come with autonomy. We want Tobagonians to begin to reflect on who we are as Tobagonians using our education sector from early childhood to tertiary.
How would you describe the success particularly and the impact coming out of the first cycle?
Right, well, we had met with some of the principals of the schools where the majority of students would have attended. Goodwood High School was one of them, Mason Hall Secondary, Pentecostal Light and Life. We met with those principals, and they gave us a sort of report of how those students have been doing, and we were very, very pleased. We were very happy to note that a number of the students, the majority, who had attended the Impact program because they met the teachers before while they were in that primary school level. They met the would-be secondary school teacher before. When they came, they behaved better. They were interested in being in school. One of the reports was that they attended school more regularly than the average child, and they were very eager to participate. So they were active in all of the co-curricular activities that were taking place. So it was very rewarding for us, very fulfilling for us, and we at least understand that they'll enjoy attending school.
Tell us about the importance of this program in the context of what's the hope for the broader reach with regards to development and where we want to see things move, our education system, whether it be the human capital, looking at overall development. What's the overall objective and intent, and probably even possible impacts on our curriculum?
Human capital development cannot be underestimated. I like to tell people that on a national level, the Ministry of Education is investing $50 million in remediation. And we have to prioritize teaching and learning and emphasizing how we do teaching and learning, because we do have an existing society where we have a number of social challenges. And we have to arrive at a place where we can use our formal and informal curriculum to develop the kind of human capital that can think critically and that can solve problems, so that we will have a larger number of persons going into creative industries who are innovative, and they do not retreat from society as often as we currently find. We are currently facing increasing criminal activity, increasing domestic violence, increasing things that should be overcome by persons who have an all-round education. That's the ideal. So Project Impact is meant to infuse the existing system with opportunities for both teachers, students, parents to be able to learn and to grow in an environment that allows us to produce a product that is sustainable and can manage all of the challenges faced in the world.
All right. Very interesting at that in terms of the rollout. And I know particularly for some, there's that looking forward to the prospect of a Tobago-centric curriculum. How important is that? Bearing in mind that for some time now, we've looked at what is the broader platform. And I know you spoke in relation to Trinidad. And, I give you a very quick analogy. When we speak to even the, social studies, geography, history, we tend to get what is the national perspective. How do we ensure and realize how vital it is to include two areas in particular I'd like you to speak to, an understanding of our very own Tobago culture and history, and two, an understanding that we ought to have from very young as citizens of Tobago that we form part of the tourism product, and we should all know the basics of how many square miles, what's our population size, those things that our grandparents and so seem to have known off the bat, even if they never studied one day in their life in tourism, but they knew those things about Tobago.
A sense of identity. People cannot underestimate what it means to have a strong sense of who you are and being able to defend who you are. Understanding what is good about yourself, what is good about your culture, about your history, etc., will help you to improve your customer service, will help you to improve your appreciation of life and appreciation of each other. Will help you to understand that you do not have an inferiority element when it is compared to any culture in the world. So there is glory and there's beauty in who you are, how you wear your hair, the type of clothes you choose to wear, what kind of house you choose to live in, harvest or harvest culture. Everything about you is worthy of display. So the child in early childhood, the student at THTI have the same kind of marketability to be able to sell their island and what is glorious about the island.
And I'm happy that you would have said that. And that's a message for parents far and wide. Even if your children are not going to participate, they need to know and understand it because it is part of who we are. I have heard a few of my colleagues, and we were at ends for this. Me and teaching my child at Carnival because I don't want them involved in that. But that's the risk you run. You still have to get them together. I see schools expose them. This is mass. This is learning about. This is where it's originated. And that is still crucial. Even if you are to tell the child, I want you to understand it, but this is not something I want you to participate in. But when you hide that information from a child, as an educator and a teacher, you know the risk involved there of that child wanting to find out on their own behind your back. So that's a gentle reminder to our parents out there. Viewers, at this point, we're going to take a short break. But have no fear, we're not done just yet with Natasha Second here, technical advisor to the Division of Education, Research and Technology, as we speak about several areas within the education system. On the return, we're going to touch on areas in relation to the school nutrition policy. So we look forward to those upcoming discussions, and we invite you to stay tuned. Remember, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
The Across the Floor Dance Company presents Emotions, Movement of the Heart dance production on Saturday, May 27th at the Shore Park Complex. Come see dances of all genres. Seating at 6:30 p.m. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $100. Children 10 and under pay $50 at the door. Tickets are available at Shaw Park Complex box office, or please call 391-2816 for more information. This is an event for the entire family.
Welcome to Limage Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. It's 7:34 a.m. and we're happy to welcome you back, those of you connecting with us via TV, radio, and those of you connecting with us online. Just as we prepare to continue, two quick announcements. One, information courtesy the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, Acting Permanent Secretary Erland Kent, an indication that the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition preliminaries were held in Tobago over the weekend at Signal Hill. So we want to continue to wish the very best to our Tobago students and those Tobago persons in the mix there, the groups that would have been involved as well. All the best to our Tobago groups. And that's one of the activities and initiatives that would have taken place over the course of this weekend here in Tobago. All right, we also want to recognize this morning and celebrate some good stuff in the mix. Our national athlete, Dwight St-Hilaire, graduates University of Kentucky with a master's degree in health promotion. The Belgarden native posted the following on his IG page. Chapter summary: graduated 2 years ago with a bachelor's in communications, now a master's in health promotion. All right, and we want to send our congratulations out to Dwight, continuing to represent and to make us proud. You know, there's always this feel-good moment, whether you're representing us at the national level, whether you're going out there internationally. Important to distinguish ourselves as proud sons and daughters of Tobago. All right, this morning as we continue with the discussions, in line with the discussions that we're having as we chat with the Division of Education, Research and Technology Technical Advisor, Natasha Second. As we continue the conversation this morning, we want to speak a little bit in relation to the school nutrition policy within the Tobago House of Assembly. We want to get a sense in terms of, we anticipate, or we have been advised that there's some alignments to happen in the context of the policy guidelines in keeping with international standards. Want to share a little bit about that with us?
Right, so we have the new FAO policy guidelines that we want to be able to align with. When we review what we deliver in terms of our school nutrition program, while we have a number of positives, we also have a number of challenges. Meal quality, we have to examine it more closely so that we have a greater standard, a higher level of standardization across the board. The head of the nutrition unit at DUTEC usually makes this joke about, well, it's not really a joke. She says we have cooks and we have caterers. So the quality that you will get from a caterer is higher than the quality that you will get from a cook. But we want to make sure that every child, from early childhood all the way up, is provided with a well-balanced and nutritious meal. So we have to re-examine some of our standards. One of the things that I recently learned, I attended the primary school principals conference on Friday, and one of the speakers was Dr. Allen. And she fully traumatized us by telling us how our lifestyle has degenerated so horribly, and that we now have a propensity of of diseases, lifestyle diseases that we could control, such as diabetes and stroke and so on. And she described our lives. She described how we come home from work after a hard day, and we sit down in front of the television and we scroll through and we spend hours there, and we drink a lot of sugar, tea, sugar, the lentil peas has sugar, the cocoa has sugar. She says everything has sugar, and that we are all plunging towards disease and illness. That is the basis behind reviewing what we eat, what we consume. Because if a number of us, as we become more affluent as a society in Tobago, are choosing a lifestyle where we walk and we move less, and we consume foods that are heavily sugared, then we are going to be sicker. So we have to change what our children consume, even in the school system, from the early childhood, the primary and the secondary level.
So tell us, in relation to looking at this policy and potential changes, would there be a team that would be formulated in terms of treating with this?
Yes. So that is the model that we're using right now, to engage as many stakeholders as possible, to create different teams and to set timelines so that we can bite off the pieces of the large chunks, so that we could acquire the actual outcomes that we want to acquire in a reasonable time frame. So we do have a school nutrition policy development committee, just like the hybrid committee. It's made out of persons who come from the education sector and from the general masses as well. So we have someone from the national PTA on board, and we have members of the division, and we have principals, we have the head of nutrition unit, and we have the nutritionist from the TRHA. So we're all working together to review all of our guidelines. We're not just looking at the meals themselves in terms of portion and what constitutes a nutritious meal. We're also going to be reviewing the cost, the pricing, criteria for children to access the meals, because that has sort of gotten out of control a little bit over the years, moved away from the original objectives. And also the criteria for selecting and for maintaining your services as a caterer, because you have to maintain a standard. We must understand that the child is a whole being. What the child consumes matters. We do have a lot of wastage with particular meals as well, so we want to bring everything in a streamlined and organized manner so that we are most cost effective in our school nutrition program.
And you mentioned that team is also going to have some either teachers or educators, persons from within the schools itself.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think they get a very good idea firsthand where some of the things really don't find favor with our students. And it's important so that that balance plays a role. Tell us about the timelines attached. Is this one of the teams that has already been set up, the time frame that the team is working with, and so on?
Right, so this is a 4-month period set out for our committee to complete, and we already started. We've had a couple of meetings before, and we're going to be doing a needs analysis. So we're going to be doing online surveys. So one of the reasons I'm here is to sensitize principals, teachers, and parents to know that a number of surveys are going to be coming out very shortly, and we want them to participate so that we can have a true sense of where we need to go.
All right. So you see, we've looked broadly in terms of hybrid education. We're speaking to Project Impact, school nutrition, the sense of the direction as to where the division is heading. Give us an idea, the overall hope with the culmination as we look in this, within the next few months. By the time you've gotten to that point of being able to treat with the information at hand, what is your hope in terms of progressively as a division?
Right. So we want to have policies that are very clear, policies that are very pragmatic. They're not going to simply be academic documents that are stuck in a cupboard. We want persons who work throughout the system to be able to move towards an improvingly higher quality education product, because we can measure exactly where we're going. So we want it to be transparent, and we want to have high levels of accountability throughout our entire system. In the school itself, on the school compound, we want everybody to be aware of what they are accountable for, what they are responsible for. We want to be cost effective. We want to spend a little bit of resources that we do get from the national purse well. We want to avoid waste, and we want to produce a good, strong person who can contribute effectively to society. Above all, I will always continue to say, somebody who is a critical thinker and somebody who can solve their own problems. So we'd have less people feeling that they need to beg or to hustle or what have you. They have the capacity to resolve their issues and to resolve our larger issues. If I could just go back
I just
a
wanted
little
to
bit.
indicate to you, final 30 seconds, any other areas you want to cover very quickly?
Yes, I want to talk about that project impact a little bit. I want everybody to get ready to bring out your kids so that we could all participate. We're looking at the STEAM model, science, technology, engineering, art and math. We want to use that for both the accelerated kids and for the remedial kids. We want to be able to encourage our students to do basic math and English, but also VAPA, culinary arts, how to do a tour guide, how to create material that they could sell, etc., how to write, journaling, etc. We want a very intense 5-week program where a number of parents, a number of students and teachers are very intensely involved as we introduce our Tobago curriculum for September.
All right, thank you very much there. Bringing us the updates on a number of areas in education. And Natasha Second, Technical Advisor at the Division of Education, Research and Technology. Thank you so much for joining us here on set this morning. Viewers, we want to thank you for the continued love and support and for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. And probably this is a good point for me to have Natasha join in as we head on out by reminding you, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Sign up, save, and win every day with Digicel Plus. You could win a tablet or a TV every single day. Just sign up for Digicel Plus and like yourself. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store to sign up now. Promotion ends May 19th and is approved by the NLCB.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards. Digital attendance cards. Air tags. Customized designs. Digital clothing tags. Digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Tapicom.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Just before we chat with our next guest, we've got one more birthday to slip in. We almost missed one more birthday to slip in there, who celebrated on a Friday. This lovely lady. Can we get that picture up? Yep. One final birthday to slip in, and that's right. And this is Tracy McNeil Waldron, who celebrated her birthday on Friday. Auntie Tracy, lots of love going out to you from the entire Lowlands McNeil clan and from all of us here at Tobago Updates. Trust that you had a great one from your husband Andrew and family. So we love you and have a really wonderful week. In fact, enjoy the rest of May. It's yours. All right. Viewers, at this time, we are chatting with Onika Mars, who's the president and founder of Women of Substance. And this morning we're talking about Talking Out Seminar. But just before we get into all of that, in fact, Onika, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Ria. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Now we're going to get into this seminar. We're going to get there. We just want to talk about what you've been up to lately. Just as recent as yesterday, you were featured. Women of Substance was featured in the TT Guardian. Tell us what that type of exposure does for you and for your organization.
I would say it does a lot because, of course, more persons would know who Women of Substance is and what we do. And, yesterday morning, I awoke to the article. I knew that it was going to be published, but, of course, forgot. I woke to the article and, a lot of persons on my WhatsApp contact saying congratulations. And I've also gotten some congratulations from Her Excellency Harriet Cross, British High Commissioner, and Shanti Moore, the Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy. And, Mr. Shanti Moore said to me, Onika, listen, I read the article this morning and I couldn't help but, smile and say, Lord, Onika is getting the recognition because Women of Substance, we have been doing a lot. And a lot of times people may see that, it seems as though we are quiet, but we are behind the scenes working. Mm-hmm. So we have been working behind the scenes. And, I really must say thanks to Dr. Sophia Mohammed, the editor at We Magazine, TT Guardian, for doing that article because it has indeed reached far and wide. Actually, I got a message from a friend of mine in Ghana saying, listen, continue to fly the flag high. So it is great exposure, because at the end of the day, we want Women of Substance to become a household name. People must know us and know what we do.
Yeah. As well, there's some purple benches. Tell us about those purple benches that persons tend to sometimes ignore throughout Tobago and Trinidad, and the significance of those purple benches.
Okay, sure. So in November 2020, we launched our Purple Bench Domestic Violence campaign. And that saw us painting concrete benches in every community in Tobago and a few communities in Trinidad. The idea behind that is to raise awareness about domestic violence. And persons might ask, why paint concrete benches or why paint benches? The benches are a permanent reminder that in every community there exists a victim or survivor of domestic violence and abuse. These purple benches are branded with domestic violence messaging and contact information for agencies such as Women of Substance, Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and the TTPS, so that persons can contact these agencies if they need help. We want people to know that domestic violence and abuse is real. It exists, and we want to keep the conversation going. So every time people see these purple benches, it is a reminder that, you know what, this exists. I may not be directly affected, but I sure know someone who is affected. Hence the reason we decided to do those purple benches. In Trinidad, we have the purple benches in Arima, Chaguanas, and Barataria.
All right. And we're going to get into some of the international connections in just a little while, but we need to talk about that Talk It Out series that you've got coming up as well.
Okay, so on May 16th, 2023 is International Day of the Boy Child. And the theme for that day is boys and their mental health. So we decided that we would do a Talk It Out seminar. Very often we do programs that speaks to girls, What we at Women of Substance know is because the higher percentage of perpetrators are males, they are part of the problem, so they must be part of the solution. So we have often decided that, you know what, we need to include them in the conversation, So hence the reason we decided to have this program, and it is specifically for secondary school boys. So we've invited secondary school boys from the 9 secondary schools in Tobago. So I'm hoping and praying that the SS3 is listening to the program this morning so that we can collect our approval, to have the boys come to Shore Park. We have 3 dynamic speakers in the persons of Mr. Shante Moore, the Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy. Of course, as you know, Ria, the U.S. Embassy have been a really great support to Women of Substance. And, of course, I'm indeed grateful to them. We also have Richard Trumpet of 99.1, I think FM it is. Radio personality. We have also Mtima Solwazi of Roots Foundation TT. So we have those dynamic speakers, and we are creating a safe space so that the boys can, of course, share from a place where they will not be judged. So we are going to have a segment where they are going to be able to share whatever challenges they are facing and not be criticized, not be judged, because having spoken to a lot of young men in my community, the cry is, nobody listens to us. Nobody wants to hear us. People pass and they see us on the block and they judge us. Nobody takes time to stop and ask, how are you? What have you been up to? What are you up to? Why are you here? You understand? So we want to have those conversations. And of course, the speakers are going to share their experiences with them and, encourage them. At the end of the day, Ria, we understand that if we continue to empower our girls and not empower our boys, there is going to be an inequality imbalance.
Now, you mentioned here the boys. This is for secondary school boys.
Specifically.
Are we talking all secondary schools in Tobago boys?
All secondary schools. So we've invited 5 boys from each secondary school. We have also extended an invitation to the Civilian Conservation Corps and the MIC. So we've written to them asking permission to have 5 of their boys attend our program.
I really wish that all of our boys could be there. We have so many of our boys who are at risk. How do you select? How does the division, how does a school select five out of a possible 100 and 300-400 boys to send to such a workshop?
Right. Now, Ria, we would have loved to have more. But as you know, we are a non-profit organization, and we rely on people like yourself, members of the public, to sponsor our programs. So as we speak, I am still awaiting sponsorship, still reaching out to persons, asking persons to sponsor, because of course we have to provide meals and snacks and stuff for these guys. We have to pay for the two of the facilitators, the speakers to come from Trinidad. Yeah. We have to pay transportation and all that, so it is a cost. So at some point in the future, we will be able to do more and facilitate more young men, because I also have a passion for working with young men, because of course I have 2 sons and they were secondary victims of domestic violence and abuse, and I saw what it did to them. Mm-hmm. I saw the effect that it had on them. I saw the trust issues. I saw the pain, them wanting to protect me and couldn't. So at this point, it's like, listen, I was sharing with somebody last night, my sons don't even want to see an ants touch me, because it's like, mommy, we don't want...
We're not going back there.
Yeah.
We're not going
You understand? So I'm really passionate about working with young men also, because if we invest in our young men, change definitely could take place.
Will take place.
Yeah.
All right. So this event is taking place on the 16th. Talk It Out. This Talk It Out series starts with on the 16th. And
it's not
time?
A series though.
Not series. Seminar.
It's a seminar. It's 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and it's at Shore Park. And as I said, it is for secondary school boys, and we've extended invitation to CCC and MIC.
Right. And a number for persons to contact. How can persons contact you?
Persons can contact us at 496-1937 or 485-9534. That is 496-1937 or 485-9534.
She's trying to remember that number there, Onika, thank you so much for being on the program with us, and always, all the best to you. Continue to do what you do. And little did you know that there was purpose to your pain.
Amen. I agree to that. I tell people that it is only 7 years ago that I found my purpose, and, I'm enjoying doing what God has called me to do. I'm not seeing myself as doing a job. I am happy that I'm able to impact lives, and, especially young persons. Mm-hmm. Like yesterday, Her Excellency said to me, Ms. Mars, it's an honor to be able to support women of substance, because you're not only speaking to adults, but to the youths, which is very, very important.
Definitely, definitely. So all the best, and we're going to leave it there, viewers. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. We trust that you have a really great day. A special good morning going out this morning to Cassie Hosang. Wherever you are, Cassie, we trust that things are going to be looking up for you. So have a great one today. Tobago, have a wonderful day. And we've got GMT coming up with Candace. We're going to head on over to Tobago Notes and then GMT. So we'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Inventor of the U-Dazzle fashion ruler, Mrs. Rona Eastman Jack, is Tobago's foremost authority on intellectual property rights. She is sharing the benefit of her experience with Roxborough secondary students.
one of the greatest benefits is licensing my product to a company in Denmark. And if I didn't have the protection for it, he would not have taken it. So, and then I have the benefit of now looking to license in the United States. And even with my trademark, that's one of intellectual property rights. My trademark now is in multiple countries because of the Madrid Protocol. You have to have intellectual property, you have to have proof of ownership. And if you don't have proof of ownership, they will not take your product to license or sell it as an invention, because you could be an infringement on somebody else's own, and they don't want that. The companies that you will license to don't want that problem.
It was inspiring to me that I got to meet one of an inventors from my country. So it was inspiring for me.
This year's theme is Women and IP, accelerating innovation and creativity.
If you have it protected, then you skip the having to prove yourself, and then you would be able to say, no, I have my trademark for this. I have an industrial design. I have a patent. I have my poems, or my book is copyright protected because it's original work. Your pictures are original. You would be able to have those particular rights.
April 26th is World Intellectual Property Rights Day. Lectures were conducted at Roxborough Secondary School and Goodwood High School to mark the occasion.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, expressed his desire to be Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Speaking at a recent television interview, Duke said he is disappointed with the current leadership of the THA and apologized to Tobagonians. Following the departure of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and others from the PDP and the formation of a new party, Duke remains steadfast in his goal to lead the THA. Meanwhile, Duke hopes to become the mayor of Port of Spain in the upcoming local government elections. In some other news, the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development is exploring using cold asphalt for minor repairs on the island's roads. Cold mix asphalt is a combination of emulsified asphalt, aggregate, and water, which is pre-packaged and does not require heavy equipment to apply. It can last up to a year as a temporary fix for minor problem areas. If the cold mix asphalt repairs are successful, the division will invest in additional material for small-scale repairs. And finally, although the state appealed a high court ruling in which the judge chastised the police for the abduction of firearms dealer Brent Thomas in Barbados, former UNC Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh has urged the Prime Minister to take ownership of the incident. At a press conference yesterday, Gopi Singh called on Dr. Rowley to rectify the situation instead of running away from TNT at such a critical state of the country's management. Dr. Rowley is currently on vacation in Barbados. Gopi Singh said that if Rowley cannot handle his duties, he should do the honorable thing and call for early elections. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Well, viewers, like I said, there's a lot of things happening in the news. And one of the things that has been capturing our attention is what's been happening at the Study Park quarry, where, at this point in time, they do not have a mining license and they do not have the blasting permits necessary for them to continue their operations. Now, the Minister of Mr. Stuart Young recently said that, you know, an audit is necessary, and an audit is currently happening to determine if royalties should be paid to the government of Trinidad and Tobago based on, you know, what has been done, the income and the revenue generated by the Study Park Enterprises Limited over the past few years. And this is certainly something that we have not really heard of in our situation. We had the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, on last Friday, where he said that, you know, this is an encroachment on the THA, and you know the government has no right to demand royalties from the quarry because of the fact that all lands are vested within the THA and all taxes should be paid to the THA as is written in the law. So to give us another perspective on what's been happening and this whole situation, we have political activist Mr. Anthony James on with us this morning. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Candice. Very pleasant morning to you and very pleasant morning to all of Tobago and all who are listening. And thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you on. Now, let's get straight into it. We know what's been happening, what both parties are saying in regards to the Study Park quarry. I want to know, first of all, from you, do you think that royalties should be paid or an audit should be happening to determine if royalties should be paid to the government of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, that aspect of the response or the statement from the Ministry of Energies and Industries Limited, or as the case may be, Energy Industries Limited, that aspect of the statement I find quite worrying, and it should worry all Tobagonians, because that language comes across as though the people of Tobago are subjects, subjects to a colonial power and so on, and that we are not really the owners of Tobago. We are not a sovereign people. But political science teaches that the people in any country are sovereign, and the people of Tobago are sovereign. We are sovereign in our own story, and we are sovereign in our own land. Tobago is our land, and it is the only land we can legitimately claim to be ours. We can't claim Trinidad, because we didn't build the cabin there, and we didn't plant the corn there, we didn't labor there, we didn't slave there. So Tobago really is our land. And so that the minister's language there is troubling. But I want to preface what I'm going to say this morning by saying that 134 years ago, everything political or institutional for the citizenry of Tobago began in Tobago and ended in Tobago. It didn't go to Trinidad, Barbados. It did not even go to England, because the truth be told, Tobago was considered to be colony, while Trinidad was considered to be crown colony. The meaning of that is that the colony that is considered to be just colony was basically independent in its operations. And the crown colony is a colony who had to account to the colonial power, which was Britain, the king or the queen. So Tobago was free. It's just very, very funny and interesting that 134 years on, the citizenry of Tobago must depend on Trinidad. But that is not completely true. I say that to say that some advancement or evolution has taken place. And in this book that I have before me here, the Tobago House of Assembly Act, some people are describing it as fatally flawed. They are entitled to their own opinion, but this is a working document. This constitutes a two-part creature, governmental creature, a policy formation, which is considered to be the executive, and a legislative one to back up policy formation. You can't make policy without the force of law. But what has happened, I have discussed it with some in the assembly, and I've pointed out the fact that they have dropped the ball. The ball has been dropped since 1996, because that part of the act, the legislative part of the act, has not been utilized. And because there is that gap, you are finding that the government in Trinidad, the colonial government, is coming in. But it's only coming in because we don't really know our rights, and those we have entrusted with the responsibility of executing government and defending us haven't really done the job that they're required to do. So that there should have never been, truth be told, an application to the ministry. Because in the law here, and we will always quote the law guides us here, the 5th schedule is complete.
So in other words, we should not have to apply for permits, licenses to mine in Tobago?
Not at all. Not at all. We should not be applying to the ministry. Because you see, and Dr. Rowley confessed, he said the only territory, the only part of the country, as he called it, that he cannot intervene and he has no power is in the matters of the Tobago House of Assembly.
But yet they still are intervening.
They still are. So his transport officers violated his own interpretation of the law, and it is a fact.
So now, I mean, as it relates directly to Study Park,
yes,
you know, have we ever had any situation in your memory, because you've been along for quite a while and you've very much been involved, but have we had a situation where our permits, licensing, whatever, even though it is flawed in the terms that we have to ask for it from the Ministry of Energy, but have we ever had a situation where we've been subjected to an audit?
No.
And our licensing, etc., was dependent on whether or not we should pay royalties.
It's an ongoing operation. It has not caused any accident. There has never been any accident, no incident up there. It's an ongoing operation. Your license does not have to be suspended, you follow what I'm saying, before a new one is granted. Law doesn't function that way. Man, the law was made for man and not man for the law. So if the operation shut down, the economy, the life has been shut down. Law was not intended, fellow Tobagonians, to shut down life. Law is not intended to do that. Life is bigger than law. The law must serve life and not life the law. So that those who are making those pronouncements and so-called decisions, they are wrong. But one would suspect, and correctly so, that there is a kind of tit for tat going on and so on. There's the fact that you belong to one side or one party and the other one belong to another party, and that is in itself is disagreeable. But when you come to public office, you can't function that way. And there needs to be statesmanship operating here at the level, because they are called to be statesmen, to serve the greater good. There has never been any incident up there. But we have to understand that, and the government must play a role in that, in educating themselves and the public concerning the constitutional relationship between the government of Trinidad, and I'm calling it Trinidad because that's what it is. It is named Trinidad and Tobago. It's a Trinidad government. And the government of Tobago, the peoples of Tobago and the peoples of Trinidad, there has to be greater understanding and maturity towards the greater good. The laws were passed in the parliament, and it gave the Tobagonians, through the institution called the Tobago House of Assembly, the right to carry out these matters which are constituted as the internal self-government of Tobago, which is a universal right. It is a right. So the colonial power can't encroach upon that. For every aspect here in this 5th schedule ought to be headquartered right here in Tobago. Begin here and finish here. And there is no law that came in before or after can circumvent the right of the people. There is none. The failure is, and it's a real failure that we have to understand, Candice, is that from 1996, since the coming into force of this, to now, we have not done the work as a people. And from the onset, if you may permit me here, from the onset, I was saying it, but people are not listening. And all right, you swear in an executive without a legal secretary. How on earth, fellow Tobagonians, are you going to operate a government without a legal secretary or a legal minister. It just can't work. You have to have a legal secretary with a legal department.
So you mean you should have a division devoted to
Legal
judiciary?
affairs.
Something similar to the Attorney General?
Yes.
Is this what you're trying to say?
Of course.
Okay.
Not necessarily the judiciary.
Okay.
Because there's no judiciary constituted in the act. But we have a right to it. The matters in the 5th schedule are just battles that we have won. But all right for the Tobagonian to the Tobagonian belongs to Tobago.
No, I mean, of course, that is something that cannot be changed right now. That's something that's missing. And, there's been lots of talk in the numerous consultations in regards to self-governance quest. But going back to this matter of spell, and especially like what the Minister of Energy and Energy Industry said, because, and he is basically saying that because, the Study Park quarry is operating on state lands, the government has a right to see what's going on and determine if royalties should be paid. Now, I want you to Anna, give your view on this.
Of course. As I said earlier, what's happening there? He's not speaking from a position. Well, I don't know if it's him, because I read that letter several times, and the letter was not written by the minister. It's somebody within the ministry there with technical knowledge. Apparently, they had good advice, and they crafted the letter very smartly. They're playing politics, and they crafted that letter very, very smartly. They left out certain information conveniently and all of that. But we have to understand that in Trinidad, there's this hangover feeling that they're in charge of all of Trinidad and Tobago. And you can understand, there's a scripture that says that when an unclean spirit is casted out from the body of a man, if that person leaves the place there empty, garnished, and so on, he didn't fill himself now with his own legitimate spirit, the Spirit of God, then that unclean spirit has that tendency to come back in. And when it comes back in, when it is coming back, it says bring 7 other spirits stronger than him. And then the last estate of that man is worse than the first. And Tobagonians need to be very, very careful about that instruction. Right? So that we have Dr. Rowley as the head of the government in Trinidad needs to lead a public education program to educate people, because the citizens, they're operating on an old instinct that they are in charge. They are not in charge. The 5th schedule says plainly, you see, internal self-government is not new to Trinidad and Tobago. It's not new to Tobago. It has a historical meaning, and the context is colonialism. So that Trinidad and Tobago had internal self-government. Right? When Williams was chief minister or premier before he became prime minister, and Capildio before him. Okay? That's the end of the period of the British governors. So Solomon Hochoy and all these people. The government now became local, headed by local people. That period is described as internal self-government. And it happened in all the territories. You didn't hear Britain saying, well, we are in charge. They couldn't say that. And I'm saying that so that internal self-government has a legal and historical meaning. It was passed in the House in 1977 in March. You can't make a law now or have an idea or thinking that circumvent that. You follow what I'm saying? So they are wrong. But you see, in Tobago here, we have a tendency and a habit now to blame Trinidad.
Now, I also want to touch on whether or not the Division of Infrastructure was also wrong in the way they handled the situation. Were there any mistakes that they made?
Well, I don't know that they made any mistake, except that, as I said, there should not have been any application. But what happened to, like the other assemblies before, they suffered, and Tobagonians are suffering from a mindset. Because it's 134 years now, we have been habitually going to Trinidad for everything. You will be surprised to see the amount of trivial small things that the assembly, that operators, functionaries within the House of Assembly are going to Trinidad for approval. You will be shocked. Approvals for $3,000, $2,000 is a mindset. I wrote a letter back in 2000 to Basil Pandey, who was the Prime Minister, and I copied it to A.N.R. Robinson, who was the President, and the opposition leader, Patrick Manning. And in that letter I said, I was calling for constitutional reform. And clearly this is what is needed here. Too many stumblings going on here. We need a clear-cut constitutional reform here. Right? And I said that Tobagonians are suffering from a state of psychological removedness. And Tobagonians are suffering from a state of psychological external dependence.
Now, does this situation, is there any, is this kind of situation, what does this situation signal?
Yes. What does it signal?
Yes, what does it signal?
All right.
And what should Tobagonians take away from this whole situation?
And this is why I said there are lessons to be learned. Here, you can't run government without institutions. You can't get government. You can't be free, sorry. You are not free until you are institutionally free. You're institutionally independent. In order for us to be free, we have to have our own institution, right? And I'm the Secretary for Infrastructure. He's a sensible guy. He knows the history and so on. And I'm sure he has learned the lesson from this. And what he will do, I'm sure he will, is to bail out with him, within his division, a licensing authority. He has to do that. He has to also bail out a blasting permit.
And there's power to do that.
Of course.
So that the central government cannot challenge it if he decides to go in that direction.
Well, the colonial government, you call it central. I think the motion passed in 77 for internal self-government defines the government as colonial. Because, you see, to pass a self-government motion, it means that colonialism existed and exists. You follow what I'm saying? And so that for me, the correct terminology is colonial.
But can they?
They can't.
They can't challenge it. There's no legal grounds for to challenge it.
No legal grounds. The Prime Minister himself said so. He said the only place that he can't intervene in. And we have to understand that. The police have to understand that. The army, every element of the society must understand. And I'm saying it is past. We are arguing an old case. This matter was solved already and won by A.N.R. Robinson. When the Parliament decided, it's not him. He moved the motion, he proposed the motion, he read it out, and the Parliament, led by Eric Williams, agreed.
Now, should the THA take legal action in this matter, seeing as how they have, as you explained?
Well, there's no need for any legal action on the part of the THA.
So do you think that they should just continue the operation?
Of course.
Without the permits and so on?
That talk about permit is according to what the Ministry of Energy has determined for themselves. And you see what happened to. And this is where they are more advanced than Tobago. Because they understand they have been involved in government for so long. So what they have done is to build an institution. It's a local institution right within the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. That's what they have done. They set up a licensing authority. It really means to approval. You can call it an approval committee. What we call in license is really an approval committee. So they have quarry operations in Trinidad, and within their office, they set up an approval committee. That's all they have done. And they have also set up a blasting advisory committee. It's all there in the letter. And this is the importance of understanding government and understanding freedom. You can't do it without building institutions. I used to learn with Dr. Winston Murray, and I really learned a lot from him. And it takes a while before ideas could really properly soak in and capture you. And so at a young age in my 30s, I was with him, and he told me, he said, James, we have to build institutions. I heard it. I didn't quite grasp what he was saying. But as I advance in years, I understand what he was saying. You have to build, Tobagonians have to build institutions so that the citizens will be like, we can feed. If you need electricity, you have to have a tea and deck. It's not any old thing, that's anarchy. And what the law has also done, they have created an institution called the Electrical Inspectorate, an independent body, so that they must inspect it first and give the approval before you can go to take. It's all about building institutions. You want telecommunications, there's a TSTT. You know what I'm saying? You want water, it is organized, there's WASA. We have to build in what the secretaries have to do in every division. They must look at all the operations and see where they can build their institutions. What institutions are necessary. And the whole idea is to stop going to Trinidad. We have fallen in love now in that sick way of going to Trinidad. There's no need for any legal action. And one of the things is Malcolm X that says, don't carry your case to the criminal. Because if you understand, government in Trinidad is a three-part creature: executive, legislative, and judicial. You're carrying your case you're carrying a case to court. You're really carrying a case to the criminal. And you saw it in that period between 2012 to 2015, when the London administration, concerning the reforestation matter, you might remember that, London took the government to court on solid grounds, and the judge in Trinidad ruled against him for a matter within the fiscal rule. Our business, it doesn't concern them at all, period. And they set up their own thing to deal with that in Tobago. Well, I'm saying if that's the case, we might as well close down the Tobago House of Assembly, close down all aspirations of that, accept our status as bastard Trinidadians, because that's what we will be now, because we don't have no Tobagonian aspiration. We're not really a people that really exist. We came down from Africa and we were lost in history. So forget about it. We are all now Trinidadians. But if we are mindful of our own true status and identity, then we must build our institutions and move. They say,
yes,
he who moves will notice the change, but he doesn't move. He will not notice if there are any change.
And I think that's a good point to end our conversation.
Have we come to an end there?
Yes, we've come to the end.
I thought Mr. Parks would have given me the whole program this morning. There's so much more to say.
There's so much more to say, but I mean, you made a point very clear in terms of, this whole situation. There is no room for central government to intervene. And I know you have another name for central government, but, I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah, no problem.
But, it's something, of course, that we need to pay attention to because, like I said, I mean, this is the first time we've heard of such an intervention where the Study Park quarry is concerned at a time when we are trying to get that back up the ground. It started in 2017 just to, be invigorized again. And now we have this situation developing. So it's interesting to see where this would go.
It's petty politics.
Petty politics. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. James.
And thank you.
And viewers, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we'll be speaking to Mr. Ricardo Alfred from from TADCO as we talk about what's happening with the capital of Paradise. See you then.
60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are.
The Across the Floor Dance Company presents Emotions, Movement of the Heart dance production on Saturday, May 27th at the Shore Park Complex. Come see dances of all genres. Seating at 6:30 p.m. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $100. Children 10 and under pay $50 at the door. Tickets are available at Shore Park Complex box office, or please call 391-2816 for more information. This is an event for the entire family.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are being joined by Mr. Ricardo Alfred, who is the chairman of the Tobago Agro Business Development Company. And yes, he's online with us. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, and how are you?
I am great. Now, we've had some good news coming out of the capital of Paradise. The capital Paradise is, of course, that fishing vessel, a commercial fishing vessel that's been going out periodically and bringing in some huge catches of fish. So, tell me a little bit about this recent catch that we had. We know that it's the largest so far.
Right, so just to give you some update, yes, it is one of the largest catch at the capital of Paradise have actually done so far, and it is one of the largest catch in Trinidad and Tobago so far as well in terms of pounds. So just to give you some idea, the vessel would have left on the 18th of April and returned on the 29th. So it would have taken them at least about 11 hours to get to St. Vincent to get some bait. They would have spent a day and a half there because they had to get in line because there's at least 8 boats that were waiting for bait. So the trip was actually 9 days actually. Between 8 days. Let's say it was 7 days. It was 8 days that they did for catching the bait, which was well done actually. In terms of pounds, the capital of Paradise, they would have caught at least an estimated close to just over 13,000 pounds in the tuna, and the bycatch about maybe 1,500 pounds in the bycatch. So they did very well. The biggest challenge right now is the bait.
Now, so far, since the vessel has been going out in at the end of 2020, you know, how much in total has the vessel been able to bring in, and how much revenue did that equal to?
I think it's at 2020. I can't comment on that. Huh? I think it's the capital of Paradise will have come back into operation in 2022. That's the official. So it's about the mid June, I would say. Okay. Mid-June last year, it would have come back into operation. In terms of the total catch, I don't have the exact figure, but we did pretty good. What persons have to keep in mind is that the vessel was down for almost 5 years. And in order to bring a vessel back into operation after being so down for so long, you have to gradually bring it back out in terms of the performance. Huh? So some of the pumps were given some problems. The radar system needs to be sorted out properly, but you can only do this while the vessel is moving. So now the vessel is at a very optimal, and it's very good right now in terms of the issues. So now we're going to push in the boat harder. So this was the result of that actually, in getting it back into operation fully. We were at a hammer and chisel stage, and now we're at a precision screwdriver stage. So now it's good, and that's where we are right now.
Now, with all the money that's been coming in, and I know you said you don't have the exact figure, But can you give us an estimate as to, just a ballpark figure as to, what you think that may have come in so far since the vessel has been going out in mid 2022, and whether or not that money is going back into the upkeep and the overheads for the vessel's operation?
Right. So what is happening? Up to the end of last year, they would have made an estimated, I think it's 160,000 US, right? Because we do the trips by numbers and by the year. So this trip was actually trip 3 of this year actually. So in terms of the figures, we would have did pretty well actually. There are some issues happening out at sea as relates to piracy, especially out in the open water there. So I want to be very skeptical in terms of putting certain numbers out there in the public because it's a real situation that is happening out there, and I do just to protect the crew and stuff like that. That's why we didn't post the values there. However, we can always meet internally and have a discussion. But this last catch here, they did very well. Just to give some rough estimates, because we haven't got back the figures as officially as yet. I would just tell you, if it's grade 1, you can fetch between 7 to 9 US a pound. So normally it's on a high end. So at 12,000 pounds there, we could work out the maths there. So, but I just have to be a bit skeptical of what is happening in the space right now as relates to piracy and stuff like that. So, and then for the guys on them, because there are some real stuff happening out there that I don't wish to discuss at this point. So, I just want to be a bit cautious around these things right now.
Now, are you at a position to elaborate on to some of those things that they're being faced with out there? You mentioned piracy. Are pirates boarding the vessels? Are they attacking our men when they go out?
No. We have not been attacked. But we have to be very cautious of the space that we are living in right now as relates out at sea. They are in international waters. They are open to many different things that are happening out there. Right? So you do have piracy out there as relates to different boats that may want to attack different stuff. These are real situations. The guys go out there and they work very hard actually in terms of bringing in the catch, and they work very hard as well in terms of maintaining the safety and the protection of the vessel as well out there. So keep in mind that everyone, when you put things out on the social media, it's an international stuff that that happens. So we are very cautious now about what is happening. I am aware of what is happening out there as it relates to different robs, things like robbery and piracy and stuff that is happening on the high sea.
Okay. Now, I mean, like I said, you're not at this point able to say, for security reasons, what the total revenue is. But how is that money being used? So you have, over 100 US million coming in from the fishing. Is that money going back into maintaining the vessel, or is that being put into the overall budget for the THA?
Right. So what I can comment on is that the money that comes into the company, it is utilized for different aspects of the operations as relates to TATCO. The US is very precious, so we have to utilize that very well actually in terms of saving it, in terms of putting some stuff out there as relates to upgrading. So what is happening now is that with the longline industry, there are some new laws coming out in terms of regulation in which we have to get certain types of hooks to be used now. The industry has to be a bait industry. You have to use live bait. So we're actually working on something called a set net. The correct name is a set gill net that is going to be used that will be used to actually catch bait. We have to work with the various division and the various division meaning fisheries and the various associations in the different areas that when this piece of equipment comes to Tobago, it will be set up, because bait is a very lucrative industry. All of the vessels now have to have live bait. That's in the long line industry, and we're looking at Tobago to be that industry as relates to bait. That is a very, very ticklish piece of equipment. You have to have the right types of hook. You have to have the correct type of framing, the anchors. So it's a very precious type of equipment that needs to be set up. But we need some consultation with the various associations and the various fisheries departments to have it done properly, because it has to be monitored as well, which will take some work actually.
And now, based on the success so far of the Capital of Paradise, will we see another vessel being acquired anytime soon?
The position that we are taking at TATCO actually is to try to get private people involved with us. Tobago only has one vessel right now that is in the long line, doing long line in a serious way. If there are private persons who wish to have TATCO manage their asset for them, we can do that and just charge them a management fee. And they, as the owner, will collect whatever money is out to them. We will just take a management fee for providing the crew and that type of information. So the crew is constantly being trained. We have various systems in place. We would have worked with one of our long line vessel called the Donald, which is owned by a fellow resident of Tobago there, Mr. Miggins. His vessel has an IMO number, that's an International Maritime Number, and he has met certain requirements. He just have to do some other tweaking to his vessel, and then we can have a conversation in terms of building the capacity and building persons. So I'm advising persons who wish to invest in such a venture to come and have a conversation. You can meet with me and let's talk about how we can partner. The more vessels we have under our feet, the more voice we can have as relates to the fishing regulation. So far, out of over 30 vessels that I registered in Trinidad and Tobago, we are just one. So it's to get a stronger fleet.
Certainly. So what's your vision now for the fishing industry as we go forward? I mean, it's certainly coming off from the success that the Capital of Paradise has been achieving over and over again. How do you see this industry in the future?
Now, fishing to me is a very lucrative environment. However, it requires a certain type of mindset from the average fisherman. Whereas we are looking at pirogue fishing, we have to gradually move away from pirogue fishing into the mother ships, where they can go out longer and they are able to catch fish at a more larger capacity and be able to supply the restaurants and groceries, etc., in a very consistent manner. So I am hoping and I'm wishing that we have a different mindset as relates to persons working together to build the bigger vessels to really make a proper fishing industry. Right? So I mean that's where we are actually. I'm really hoping that the fishing industry could evolve. I'm hoping that the guys and them could work together to really build that industry. So that's where we are right now.
All right, great.
Well, that's my wish for Tobago. And also to create a bait industry as well. The export market, what we have to be careful of the export market, the reason why we are actually utilizing Trinidad in terms of getting the fish exported from Trinidad is that you have a very short window from the time the fish gets off the vessel before it gets to Miami. Right now we're using Miami to do to get this fish to the relevant people. It's a very, very short window. I mean, if you look at the flight arrangement between Trinidad and Tobago, just to get a flight between Trinidad and Tobago is a task. So, looking at so until Tobago reach that standard in terms of getting to Miami or getting to other countries within hours, then we can start looking at getting it exported from Tobago. But currently, we have to do it from Trinidad.
All right. Well, that's a good point to leave off this conversation. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Alfred, for being on with us and for sharing what's been happening with the Capital of Paradise and the fishing industry in Tobago. And we're certainly looking forward to seeing more success as the time goes on. All right, viewers. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be having a conversation with the police. So don't go anywhere.
The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Welcome to Limache Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Sign up, save, and win every day with Digicel Plus. You could win a tablet or a TV every single day. Just sign up for Digicel Plus and like yourself. Visit digiceltt.com or a Digicel store to sign up now. Promotion ends May 19th and is approved by the NLCB.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero. Champion. Fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
The Across the Floor Dance Company presents Emotions, Movement of the Heart dance production on Saturday, May 27th at the Shore Park Complex. Come see dances of all genres. Seating at 6:30 p.m. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $100. Children 10 and under pay $50 at the door. Tickets are available at Shore Park Complex box office, or please call 391-2816 for more information. This is an event for the entire family.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are being joined by Sergeant Joseph Jordan of the TPS. And special good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me this morning. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, your viewing and listening audience. I am doing well.
Great.
Doing well.
Great. So I want to start off our conversation this morning in regards to a bust that happened at the port over the weekend where a port officer and his partner was, held with some drugs and some ammunition.
Right. So on the note of that, yes, over the weekend we would have conducted some work, and 2 persons from the Port Authority were held. On Saturday, inquiries continued into that said matter, and searches were conducted at the homes of those persons, and additional drugs were found. We were able to recover approximately 1.2 kilograms of compressed marijuana. So those persons will later on in the day be charged, and I would, by between 3 and 2 more, would appear before the court to answer those charges. Right.
Now, was this as a result of a tip, or?
We have surveillance and continuous surveillance as it relates to the transportation of drugs and ammunition between Trinidad and Tobago. And that was one of our examples of our surveillance and work over a period of time that resulted in such. So we want to thank the persons who would have contributed to that. And in particular, I want to send a special thanks to the Divisional Task Force Scarborough and the Chauvin Road District Police Station, so that they continue to work hard, and out of that work, we are yielding the results that we desire.
Now, how much did this bust, I would say, how much would this help in terms of preventing the amount of drugs that are coming into our island? Because, you know, this is somebody that's very much involved in the port, that has a chance to say, you know, you bring it in under me and that sort of thing, or to turn a blind eye, so to speak. You know, so what would this do to, you know, the control of illegal stuff entering our island?
Well, certainly it highlights the point where the police, the port, and the security mechanisms that are in place, they are working. And it will send a strong message that you should desist from plying in these illegal trades. And it's somewhat, I would say, embarrassing to know that you as an officer of the port or an employee of the port, you are conducting yourself in that manner. So it brings further embarrassment to your family, to yourself, and even to the organization to which you are employed. And as I said, we are sending messages to persons that it is not appropriate, it is not the way that you ought to go. And we want to ensure that persons understand that the messages that are being sent, and we want to employ people to do the right thing, because do the right thing as is the right thing to do. And these sort of behaviors are not going to be tolerated by the organization. We have been working hard. We are seeing what the effects of drugs can do, and also it is one of our major problems as it fuels our current gang culture in Trinidad and Tobago, and the amount of murders that are resulting as a result of persons plying these trade. That out of that incident, it is appear that some level of distribution is taking place based on what was recovered from the apartment. So as I said, it appears to be a level of distribution that is taking place, and no matter how small it may seem to the average person, that would have a serious impact on the persons who are involved. So it would have been a successful breakthrough in treating with.
Do you have any estimation as to how long this has been going on, and you know how much has this person allowed to come into Tobago?
Well, we can't see that information. I do not have.
Okay.
Right, as it relates to allowed or how long they have been doing this stuff, but from what was discovered, it appears that it's a comfortable trade that they have been plying, whether they are a major supplier or a minor supplier, but any part of it, therefore, thereof, is somewhat illegal. It is illegal, and they are now paying the price. The court has to do, the judicial system is left up to them to decide how they will treat with them, but as it relates to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the other agencies involved, we have had an impact, and a message was sent.
All right. And now we've also seen over the past week some shootings throughout Tobago. Now, is it that we've seen an increase in gun violence on our streets, or is it that, you know, these are some isolated events?
No, we are seeing some increase in gun-related crimes in Tobago, as in Trinidad and Tobago. And I would want to even point out on that note, when we look at our statistics for Tobago for the period 2023 and as compared to 2022, what we are seeing is that in our serious report crimes, there is a reduction, right, overall, which amounts to a reduction of approximately 32% decrease in SRCs. Now, SRCs also include murders. But a lot of people, our focus, or we are judged in this country on our murder rate,
yes.
Right? And 2022, we would have seen 3 murders. Sorry, well, for the same period, we would have seen two murders. And for this said period in 2023, we are now seeing 5 murders. And most of them are gun-related. So therefore, the SRCs, or the serious report crimes, are going down. But that most serious one of that of murder is going up. So it reflects somewhat in a kind of bittersweet atmosphere, in a bittersweet state, and it creates a level of concern, because yes, SRC is going down, but we have 5 persons dead as a result of gun-related crimes, and as well as shootings.
How many people have been injured so far from gun-related crimes?
Approximately, as relates to my recollection, we would have had 1 person who would have received gunshot wounds, and well, they are alive. The others were persons would have been shot but eventually succumbed, hence taking our figure to 5. So yes, we have a number of persons who have been shot, and there are also incidents of persons discharging firearms in the public space, which would have been one of the incidents that would have taken place in the Wim district over the last week. And on the note of even on the last murder that we recorded in the Golden Lane is unfortunate, and we want to extend condolences to the family of Mr. Eastman, who would have met his demise, unfortunately, in such a horrific manner. So these are some of the challenges that we are faced with, and we continue to ask the public and plead with the public to assist in whatever information. If you see something, say something, and of course, there are the lines of communication where you can share information through the 555-800 tips. And of course, if you can find a police officer who you can trust and share information with at some stage, as I often see, not every single person within the organization may be considered as being corrupt, because it would mean that our state of security is totally compromised if we actually believe it, and then the organization of itself is somewhat in a daunting stage if we cannot trust not one single person.
All right. Now we only got about a couple minutes left, but I know that there's some developments in terms of what's been going on with bomb threats and how the police has been handling it.
All right. As it relates to that investigation, well, as the news would have really expressed over the last week, the incident was one of a hoax. However, our investigation continue to bring the perpetrators to the forefront, and it is seen in that instance where a lot of technology would have been used in order to carry, because the servers have been discovered all over the world. So this person persons have a lot of technical skills in what they would have done. And as it relates to that, it brings me back to the point of last week we were discussing threats, and we would continue on that note. And if you may permit me, I would like to read one of our sections as it relates to law, as it relates to threats. All right. So we want to look at the offenses against the Person Act, which is Chapter 1108, and we look at Section 10. And this refers to letters threatening to murder. And it states, any persons who maliciously sends, delivers, or utters, or directly or indirectly causes to be, receiving, knowing that the contents thereof, any letter or writing threatens to kill or murder any person is liable to imprisonment for 5 years. And this points to the issue of threatening language via letters and other areas. And there is serious penalties for these kind of things. And when we encourage these kind of behavior, we are creating fear in our society. And being in fear is a level of an assault to an individual. And the organization or the trying to be, there are laws that are trying to do that treats with these things. So in relation to that investigation, I am really hoping that our investigation can conclude and actually bring the perpetrators to justice, so that the public does not continue with these kind of behaviors.
And certainly that it is discouraged.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Sergeant Jordan, for being on with us, and such a pleasure as usual. And viewers, I hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new